Hello, everybody there. We will be with you shortly. Good day, everybody. Welcome to the show. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media world. So glad to be hosting another episode of DYOR Live here after an hour-long technical delay due to being on a remote location. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever it is in the world you're coming to us from. Thanks for joining us today. We got Technical Tuesday here. I am on remote location here, setting up for an event. But thankfully, I have my co-host here over my shoulder, Pedro Garcia. Pedro, what's happening?
Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing today?
Doing good. I've got a, as they say, in real life event going on tomorrow. Today is setup day. And I didn't think I was going to be able to go live today and talk about it. But if you could see the tech desk here, it's full of stuff and ready to go. What wasn't ready to go was the live stream. But now we got the live stream going. And we are out on, well, this is amazing. I was going to say we're out on YouTube, X, and Twitch. And Chuck Jansen says, grab a hot bag of light corn and enjoy the show. Moon Baby. Thanks for the $5, Chuck. We really appreciate the super chats. A disastrous show off like this with a super chat is amazing. So thank you very much on that. And also, okay. Oh, all right. Sorry, I got a lot of tech stuff going on around here. But anyway, thanks, Chuck. We really appreciate it. As Pedro and I always say, every donation goes to show the algorithm that we're here and someone loves us, but also to further the better this and make sure we don't have as many technical difficulties. Pedro, did you see the song Technical Difficulties?
Just small.
The guys at Genu made for us.
Technical. Yes, dude, I absolutely loved it. Great job to Geno, man. That was awesome. And then he shouted me out, Pedro, with the TA. I was like, look at that, dude. I posted it on my Facebook, all my stuff. Like, I thought it was the coolest thing. So shout out to Geno. I really appreciate that. That was really dope. Great job.
That was really cool. If you guys haven't seen it in our Twitter feed somewhere, there's a song that the Genu guys put out. They made on AI. It's called Technical Difficulties, and it's about Pedro and I doing the DYOR live show. It starts out in the virtual studio, Tom and Pedro having technical difficulties, and that would be a good thing for this day. But Pedro, Jeff Ledger says, "Yo, Pedro, you shaved 15 years off there."
Right. That's the problem. Every time I shave, like it literally looks like I'm in like 29, 20. I mean, I some people say, what are you, like 25, like 26? I'm like, no, look, I got bags underneath my eyes. What do you mean? Right? Like, but right. But what's so interesting is that yeah, it's real. Like the kid look is real. Like really real. So it's funny. But what are you gonna do, right? Like you can't. That's a good thing and a bad thing. It's funny is I start to talk to people, and I'm pretty authoritative. I kind of go in and talk about a lot of stuff, right? And a lot of times when I'm not fully, if I'm not fully shaved, it is like you're just, guys my age will look at me and be like, "You're just a kid. Like, what do you know?" And then they're like, well, I'm 45, and all of a sudden they look at you like, "You're 45?" Like, it's like. They sit there now. They struggle. Yeah. What you talking about, Willis? So they'll kind of listen to you. I hate to say it because when somebody talks so strong about like an opinion, as men, we go. If you just came out of your mom's womb, meaning just got out of the house, laid off the nip, right? Like, how much do you really know, right? Like, you don't. I would say 10 years, you start to experience a lot of life in those 10 years. That's why, like, from 25 to 35. Not that you take another man, unless that man has built things, right? Like businesses, had a family, or took on a family. Let's say he married an older woman, and he has a lot of kids, right? And through those experiences, you sit there and go, okay, this man has lived through some life. But if he's freshly shaved, you know what I'm saying, and he's talking strong, and you don't know much about his life, your first thing is to be like, be quiet, kid. So that's why I kind of grow the beard, because it literally. It makes me look my age. You can see the gray and you can see everything. But when I shave, again, like especially when I'm fully shaved, bro, it's like I just came out of the womb.
This is striking. Because it's like I'm 12.
Say that again?
Mr. Striking won't let me shave because then I look like I'm 12.
I could only imagine, dude. I could only imagine.
I've got to check in with her because she's out doing something important today. So I'm going to bring up your screen here and let you take over what's going on with all the good stuff in the world, namely BTC.
All right, awesome. Let's check it out here real quick. So, unfortunately, I, because of all the technical difficulties, for whatever reason, I think somebody has tried to hack my Microsoft Edge.
No one's hacked you.
I'm telling you, dude. Like, I can't get in. I'm trying to figure it out. You say nobody's hacking, but like, I can't even. Come on. Please work. Like, I'm just like everything, I don't know. I woke up yesterday and everything, I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm paranoid.
They hacked in just to tweak your charts. They didn't steal all your money, get your banking info. They said, we're going to drive Pedro crazy with the charts. All right.
That's
Pedro.
more, but here's the thing. That's worth more money than my bank. Because the knowledge. Like you can steal somebody's money. But if you can get a hold of the things that they look at to make money, there you've made money. So anyhow, so let's move forward here. So we're seeing Bitcoin start to explode here. All right, we've talked about this, about Trump winning the election. We've talked about how I need to see volume step in and really start to show real conviction. I needed to see the 50-period moving average cross over the 100 and start to tip up versus just kind of waver, right? We've talked about this. Back in November, around February, we talked about literally we're in this sideways pattern. And as we get closer to and again, this is all stuff you can go back and check our history, right, of past videos. We've talked about literally how in the market right now, we were waiting for Trump or whoever is going to win because the market doesn't know. Now that we're seeing Trump really pull ahead and really start to pick up his, looks like he's going to win. Looks like he's going to do some big stuff here, right? it looks like he's going to win, because the fact is he's so far ahead. Not far ahead, but you know, like you see more people definitely at his rallies than Kamala's rallies, right? We see more people, and a lot of the conservative evangelicals are saying they're going to vote, like, which historically we've seen them that they don't really show up to the polls. They're talking about, okay, this needs to happen. So most likely we're going to see Trump win. And you can see that now in the charts. You can definitely see in the last 2 days, we're seeing him kind of start to pull ahead. We're seeing a lot of things happening. And so now we're watching that push up. So I think people are front running to really start to get in. So you can see what's actually happening here, whereas Bitcoin is now coming, and we're coming up to the higher point of this range here, and I'm expecting us to see some pretty big moves here. And so this, I hope this isn't anything, you know, at all is predicated on if Trump wins or if Trump doesn't win, right? Because if he wins, like I've talked about, you know, it potentially could hit that $300,000 mark, right? That $300,000 mark I've talked about. So it's a really interesting situation that we have going on now on the back end. Okay, and I think this is really important to pay attention to when we're looking at this market. Okay, now if we start to really pick up movement and we start to really see volume step in, which we're starting to look, we're seeing volume at the peak here not die off but pick up this week, right? We're starting to see it pick up. I'm fairly excited because I'm seeing that 50 period move higher. You can see it's starting to really pick up here, which is the gray line right here. You know, I'm going to make it a dotted gray line because this is another indicator. And for me as a trader, at least my style of trading, that when I start to see that 50 period cross and start to show movement. Give me 1 second. Let me put this here. Nope. Come on, Kim. Line with break. All right, there we go. I swear, dude, like, it's just like it's always harder. It's like I just don't understand why things are so difficult sometimes. It doesn't have to be. Okay, let's try this again. Break line. Okay. Nope. All right, whatever. All right, so this line right here, which is the gray line that just crossed over the 200 period moving average, and that 50 or that 100 period moving average, it's a huge bullish sign. We've talked about this now for about 4 weeks, that I need to be able to see what's going to happen with this 50 period. We found support down here. This was a week, and this should have been an indicator for me, but I just was like, because we've been going sideways so much, and we really, back here, I mean, 3 weeks ago, we really didn't know. Trump was still kind of head to head with Kamala, so we really didn't know what was going to happen. But I should have paid attention to this mark right here, that when we blew through here, and we put that higher high in, right, where with this zone is, right, we've talked about this zone, right, as it sold off, we found support, and we barely tapped the that 4 hour zone, and then we shot up, right? So that should have been indication, hey, knucklehead, like, we're moving up. So I think the market thinks that that Trump is going to win the election, and now so my brain is switching now to bull market instead of a sideways market. And so with that, we're always looking now to go long, right? And so in that same sense, I'm definitely bullish now with us pushing forward, as long as Trump keeps doing what he's doing, doesn't do anything stupid or shoot himself in the foot, right? I think he should win. And then from there, we should see a major move in the market between now and pretty much November 5th, right? We'll start to see it, right? We're already starting to see volume step in, and we're already starting to see it come in a way that it's in conjunction with a bull market, right? as we're pushing up, we're seeing volume step in. We talked about that, right? And so for me, I'm going, okay, cool. So on the back end, when I'm looking at this, I want to sit there and see us as we push up higher into these levels, right? Which we want to always be kind of going long here. We want to catch this part up in these levels here. So you can, if you're looking to go long here with BTC, what I would advise, again, excuse me, not advise, what I'm going to do, this is not financial advice, okay? This is all just purely me just talking about what I would do. What I'm looking for is literally a push up, pull back, and then a push up again. So I'm going to remove the supply areas here. And I'm definitely looking for us now to start to continue up as we move forward here. You can see here that this line, this green line right here is literally the, give me 1 second, text here, all-time high. So we're almost at this all-time high here at this green. And so for me, if we see it pushed up off here with volume, this is key. Volume is already starting to step in. So we want to see this push up with volume, come back, find support around this area here, consolidate maybe even a little bit, and then it should send. So this is what I'm looking. So this area here is where I'm looking, where we can actually gauge whether it's going to either send or not. Okay, and that's this area right here where this green area is. This now becomes our demand zone in the midst of this. Okay, and let me pull this up here. I'm actually going to make that. Why is that like that? It should not. Why is it? Doesn't make sense. Okay, and we're going to do that. There we go. All right. So this bluish area here, bluish green area, is now going to become that area where we should see it go up, come back down, bring in a lot of volume, and just skyrocket. So I'm really looking forward to see as we move forward. We'll be playing off of the 8-period moving average, and then hence continue up. I'm also, give me 1 second, guys. If you guys over there on X, if you could do a shout out, like, what's up, guys? Say something. Talk to us on. All right, and I actually need to do this here real quick. I'll post this. There we are. And we're about to jump in this. Forgive me, guys. I forgot to do this here real quick. With all the craziness that we were dealing with, it's been a pain and a half. So, and I forgot. I realized I was like, oh shoot, I didn't send that out. So, then we're gonna start moving to other things as the market starts to progress. Because I want to talk about Solana and a few other things I want to talk about. So, give me 1 second. So.
Welcome, Jesus, the Lord and Savior, to the show. Thanks for joining us. No, it is Thanksgiving. Thank you very much. Alpha Wolf, welcome to the show.
What's up, Alpha? I was about to
finally hit where it's sitting, but I have a feeling it's going to be a bad December. Well, everyone wanted October, and they got it. You were complaining about that. Crypto, damn, Pedro looking muy suave, homie.
Muy suave. ¿Qué pasa?
We've got, for those of you just joining the show, I'm at a remote location setting up for an event tomorrow. Not a crypto event, in real life event. So I'm in a ballroom right now setting up a tech table for the event. But I thought I'd take a little time out to get the stream going since we haven't broadcast since last Thursday.
Yeah. So, well, we did have the stuff. It was really interesting during Friday's full rant Friday. We actually had a gentleman who came on, man, who was literally talking about Mexico and the law that was passed that basically is going to give the cartel pretty much full autonomy now, and it's kind of scary. He's like, this is going to affect you. He goes, they're no longer just in drugs. You know, they're into avocados. Many of the produce that sends across the nation, the cartels are pretty much running that, taking care of all that. And he was just talking about how this is really scary. So he really wants Trump to win because they're kind of afraid of him in a sense, right? They won't push him, right? Because he knows he'll just be like, all right, you want to play? We'll play. So it's really interesting to hear him talk about if Trump wins, what we're going to see. We'll see what happens. I mean, it's from another country, but we'll see.
J Crypto, did we listen to technical difficulties while we were having technical difficulties? No, but we did talk about it. We did talk about it. I'm afraid if I were to try and play that right now, bad things would happen. Bad things would happen. Although I am playing some background music, but it's loud where I am, so I can't really hear it. If you guys are hearing the lo-fi background music, if it's too loud, let me know. Pedro, while you're typing, did we actually hit an all-time high, or is that 73,666 the all-time high?
Yeah, 7366 is the all-time high. Yeah, I'm hoping we hit it on show. That's actually where my goal is, because if we hit that, man, on show, that'll just be like, yes. So I love it. But yeah, this thing is moving. I think it all has to do with if Trump wins, he's pulling ahead in the polls. A lot of people are very, very bullish on the market if he wins. So it's going to be really interesting to see as we move forward what is actually going to happen. So absolutely. I mean, I feel like we're definitely, I was listening, I read a lot of Substack, right? And so I was reading this guy who was talking about, you know, Trump basically acting as like a pre-Antichrist. And like, you know, like talking about all this stuff. And I was like,
yeah.
Have you seen those? Have you seen a lot of like he's the Messiah and he's like the Antichrist? Like I'm watching these two parallel, dude, and I'm just like, man, this is. I mean, I think to myself, if this is correct, then you know. But either way, a lot of values that I hold true. He doesn't obfuscate the issue, and he very much is almost pro for a lot of those issues that I subscribe to. So like, you know, in the Christian faith, you know, we believe like the Antichrist will say all these things and then halfway through it, he flips on us and basically says, gotcha, right? And then so, I don't know, it just is all these little things. But as of right now, we are where we're at and we'll see what's up. Shib, and then, so, all right, guys, let me get out of here and let's talk about the market here. So I just sent this stuff off.
Troublesome says the pump has nothing to do with the orange, man.
Funny, dude.
Yeah, it has a little bit to do with them, but not directly. One of the things you see they're buying is money's flowing into the ETFs.
Yeah,
started up yesterday. Yesterday we saw a morning bump up too, and there was $1 billion inflow to the ETFs yesterday.
Yeah,
so that helps a lot. Remember, a lot of times on Mondays we see people come in and it pumps because guys come to the trading desks. They sold a bunch of ETFs over the past couple of days, don't have enough Bitcoin to cover them, and they go buy some more.
Yep. Now, what's also interesting is Solana. So I expected Solana to come back and test this 89, or the 92 to the 79 area. We held along on the weekly 50 period moving average, which is what I drew with this yellow line, or not yellow, but gray line right here. So it's really interesting that we're holding volume, right, on the weekly. It's not decreasing, it's not increasing. Last week we had a little bit more than usual volume, but it is starting to really kind of like the candles are starting to like get smaller as we come to higher supply. So from a level of where we're sitting at right now, we potentially could have a pullback right at this level here where we're coming to. So right at this level of that 193 to 188, we could have a pullback. You can see how the candles are starting to pull back a little, and then, or not pull back, but get smaller, right? Which shows that it may not necessarily, it's getting ready to turn around. So these pullbacks, if it pulls back here, I'm looking for a couple places to buy, right? One, down at this level right here, right? As pulling back to this level here of that 131, 121 area. And then potentially, right, is this level. And then down at this lower level here, which is that 80 or that 92 to 79 area. Now, we also have one other area that could hold, again, is at that 8 period moving average and the crossover right here, which is that 156, 150 area. And I think we could see a wick down to these lower levels here. So be prepared for that when it comes up into that 193, 188 area. Now let's go ahead and check real quick. And I think this has been really interesting because a lot of us have talked about prior the bonds, right? We haven't really hit the bonds much, but we've seen a lot of stuff kind of happening now with the bonds. The yields are increasing, right? We know that if the yields increase, right, then we should see the actual bonds drop. Let's look at this. I think it's very interesting. Boom. So that's 30-year BB. We're seeing bonds fall, but to the degree in which they're supposed to fall in relationship to what we're seeing with yield and the increase in yield, I don't think they're proportionate. So it's really interesting to think we might see another decrease. I think the banks are hedging a decrease in the bond prices. The bond prices may go up and a decrease in yield because Powell has already kind of talked about it. He's considering dropping the yield again because to kind of spur on, or at least kind of equate, he thinks that the economy is doing decent. So it's really interesting to see as we move forward what's going to happen here. But I want to highlight that. And then in addition to that, I'm going to put some areas that you guys could potentially looking to take some profit potentially on bonds here, or what I would be looking to take a part of, not necessarily you guys. So this area here of a sell-off, again, this is a 3-month chart error. This is a 3-month pullback, but we could see a pullback potentially to here at the 13, and this is the 30-year bond. If you're looking to trade the 10-year bond, the 10-year bond would be somewhere roughly around this level here. That area right here on that weekly chart, and potentially right here.
Sorry about that, Pedro. I had some more setup stuff going on here. What do you got on the screen there?
So these are government bonds in relationship to the yields and what's actually happening in the yields. And so I think we're going to see a yield decrease in a sense, because when you look at the actual where the placement in the government bonds, but they've got to push it up to drop it. So this is where I'm looking potential. We have the breakout of this moving average, or excuse me, not the moving average, but the descending the trend line here. We did see a breakout, but for me, we're not seeing a lot of demand wicks, right? We're seeing kind of here. So this is why I'm kind of expecting maybe a potential pullback to drop back to maybe spur on a little bit more on the economy. Or we could see the Fed simply just, maybe somebody has an insider situation and they're looking to kind of capitalize on this as it is just potentially pushing it up to drop it later. So that's it about in a nutshell right there. Let's check out gold here. We're watching gold really start to push up, which I just find really interesting because, you know, as it's, come on, buddy. I know you can do it. You can do it.
You can do it. Is this
here we go.
Spot or the futures?
It's futures. But again, GLD and futures kind of run hand in hand. I mean, you can see here, but the futures sit at these levels where, I mean, just today alone, we put in a new all-time high, and you can see. So the reason why I'm saying this is if everybody is running to safety right now, okay, everybody's literally running to safety, and we're seeing this thing push up. Something is awry in the economy. Why isn't money being funneled into other delta-based like money coming in, right? And so I think potentially people might be a little afraid, one, of the elections and the outcome. If Trump doesn't get in, we could see a big sell-off within these, and so people want to run into a safe asset. Give me 1 second, sorry.
AI, thanks for spreading the word about the show. Really appreciate all you new viewers coming on. I've got a short show for you today. We started late, but got to end close to being on time, but we'll run a little late here today. I'm on a remote location, so as they say, we had some technical difficulties, but that's not stopping Technical Tuesday from happening and Pedro going over it. So thanks everyone for tuning in, and thank you AI Alpha Wolf, the hardest working man in crypto, to join in.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, guys. Really do appreciate you guys so much. You guys are absolutely amazing and scholars and gentlemen all in one.
I see what you did there with this comment.
Not their feet, socks off, Pedro. You can do it. All righty. So let's go ahead here real quick. As we're looking at gold, we're starting to see gold now start to take lead here. For myself, and we're seeing, like, if you guys look at the volume, it's not necessarily selling up. It's just kind of holding steady at this level here. So for me, it's just potential. It can continue going higher until we start to move. So for myself, I'm a little weary of, again, the S&P 500 continuing higher. But you can see we're kind of consolidating here. And we found support at this level, but again, it looks like a potential kind of turn on the S&P 500. And so I think potentially if we see a major sell-off in the S&P 500, I think part of that money is going to go into crypto. I think part of that money, the institutions will funnel, and I think will also help start the real push-up in the crypto market. So this is another thing that is potentially happening. Now, there's accentuating circumstances in which, from a new standpoint and a world standpoint, why we're also seeing gold push up. But again, I think crypto, when it comes to Bitcoin, is a digital safety point for a lot of people, right? And a hope. So it's one of those things that if the money comes out of the S&P and goes into the crypto market, I think it's gonna be really interesting to see. And here's the thing: if we see some massive sell-off, right, that I'm kind of expecting with the S&P 500, then we're talking there's going to be a few $100 billion to potentially maybe $1 trillion that they could deploy into crypto, right? And I'm talking institutional money, right, coming in. And so we could see, and again, remember, because of the amount of people who are looking to go long, it's going to really, I think it's going to really push the market up, like, in hopes, right? That's my view. That's what I think we potentially could see. Now let's also check out CL here. We're starting to see a really good sell-off with crude oil. We talked about going short here, right? When it was coming up into these levels to come back down into that 70 to 65 area, and we saw that right from last week. Oh, I think we were looking at over here, and it's come down back into this level. If you're looking for it, I think we very much could see even a further sell-off of crude oil back down to the and this, I believe, is the weekly, or here we are. So this area here, we could potentially see this thing sell off to the 59, 57 area here. So this is one of those areas that I just want to be mindful of, that if we see, also another like bullish thing is if we can see a sell-off of crude oil, there's, again, extra money that people will be able to put into the market, which it would be in Bitcoin. If Trump gets in office and he starts to talk about Bitcoin, he starts to make it a reserve, right? Everybody and their mama is going to say, what is Bitcoin, right? And they're going to want to get into it because it's a...
That's right. They'll be like, grandma will be calling. What is this Bitcoin, honey?
Yeah, it's exactly. And because that's Trump's generation, right? If he's talking about it, they're going to be like, you know, conservative grandma is going to be like, Sonny, how do I get this Bitcoin, right? And all of a sudden, it's going to be game on. So again, it's kind of looking really good, you know, like potentially. Like, I don't want to get, I hate getting too excited, right? I don't want to get excited, but it's kind of potentially pushing up. The other part behind it, we talked about looking at the long here. We talked about the long back in last week, right? Or not last week, about 2 weeks ago, the natural gas, right? And so I talked about it going up here. I said this jump up here wasn't necessarily, I don't like this jump up here, right? This was today. We just had a huge gap. Yeah, that's true. I didn't think it was that much on. Let me check my personal chart, natural gas. I'm like, wait, what? There, I think that's up. I just doesn't. Yeah, I was gonna say no. Like I was like, wait, something's up with that. I don't think that's legit. Wait, maybe. I was looking at that. I think I was trading the wrong. Yeah, we did. Shoot. Look at me. I made a mistake there. Give me 1 second. I gotta switch. Roll forward. This thing. All right. So yeah, we gapped up. That's insanity. So look, yeah, we were talking about going long because the winter time is coming. We should see natural gas. A lot of people around the country here use natural gas, so the demand for that should pick up. It hit our supplier where we saw it push back down and to go up. So now we're starting to see that demand come in for natural gas. So we should see it potentially come up to, if you're looking for a really good long, we could come up to that $3.65 area here, and potential even higher, right? Because we have lower highs and lower lows. And so
sorry about that, Pedro. Just had to interject with a funny comment. Jerry says, Tom looking like a defense attorney one day, and today looks like a guy buying weed from. I got my lumberjack shirt out here today, gentlemen. Not so dressed up. And trying to bring your expectations down. Pedro, quickly about natural gas, though. I would say the rise in price in natural gas would benefit, not benefit, but a Kamala victory would cause gas to be higher. Because while she says she's going to frack for more gas, it's entirely possible that her yes just means 20-year delay. Yes, we're in the approval process, but suddenly something that takes 4 weeks to approve now takes 2 years. And so that would drive, limiting the supply in the U.S. We've had, when they exploded fracking in the U.S., the price of gas went. I remember getting monthly bills for gas, like $400 or $500 where I used to live. And then it went down to 80. Same place, same heating, same system. That's when they invented, when I guess it was Bush. George W. Bush started the fracking whole thing, and it increased the supply. Dead natural gas wells suddenly and fields suddenly were producing 300% more than it had before because they could get it out, and it drove the price to the floor, which was great. So if natural gas is going up, maybe someone's thinking Kamala instead of Mr. Trump.
You know what? That's actually a really good point, man. Yeah, they're trying to make plays both ways. So if they're in it on one, then
take a bet on one side and lay it off on the other.
Yeah, and if anything, they could quickly get out. I mean, because we're in the demand for natural gas during this time period is a much higher level. So I'm working out my head. So then they would have exit liquidity in this aspect because people need to buy it as a contract. Oh man, that is a brilliant play. So they would have they already have exit liquidity. They're already, dude, these guys are geniuses, man. I just like when you think about that, right? Like, it's just oh, that's interesting. It was funny. I'm looking at the SME futures, and you're right. So I was wondering, I was like, that is a huge jump there. But then I'm actually looking at it here. So that's 2869.
Pedro, did you redo your monitors again where they are?
No, I haven't changed jack, dude.
No. Did you just move some? It seems like you've got now a third stack because it's like you're looking at the top of the SpaceX launch tower, like, and we're checking on natural gas up there. It used to look down here for him, but now you look.
Oh no! So I have two. So I have my actual trading charts, right? That I use to get in and out of the CME over here, and I specifically do it for a purpose because what happens is when you typically look at something up, your brain signals to send off more like you need to learn something. It's almost like we were just engaged as a kid, when you look up to learn, right? And so I purposely set it up that way so I can see things differently versus seeing some eye level, right? It switches different type of thoughts. So not only am I trading, but I'm always trying to see if I can see something. So I specifically make sure that my trading chart is kind of up, like right here. So I've showed you part of it. I've got a huge monitor right here. It's a 44-inch, right? And I have, anyways, that's what she said.
Just saw you looking in different directions. Thought,
yeah.
Anyway, everyone, welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome to the X stream. Also, not a lot of viewers over there, but those of you that stopped by, thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming, guys.
Drop a comment or two if you can. We'd appreciate it.
Definitely. Also, let's check out some meme coins because we weren't here yesterday. So I want to check out a couple of meme coins that are actually definitely pumping. One is, check out Shibaroo. Oh. So Shibaroo over here is pumping today. And look at the amount of volume it popped on Monday and Tuesday. Okay, look at this. This is a good sign. We talked about how I was definitely I changed my view on SHIB, right? And instead of it coming potentially down to here, I was saying down at these levels right here, we could have, I didn't really know if we would wick down and go up or if we were just going to move up. So you can see here, we're starting to see SHIB find legs here and now starting to push up here. So that's a good sign, right? Like for me, like when I see something like that, I'm like, woohoo, right? So, sorry, I just sound like what's his name? The guy Moana, the guy's name. I'm like, woohoo. Anyways, so you can see, my brain just went totally left field there. So sorry about that. So you guys can see here, we came down with SHIB and we're starting to see some volume step bent and it's starting to get going. So like I said, we should blow through this level here, right here. And I expected to see it kind of get going. We're still in this consolidation period between that 4016 to the 4020, right? We're coming up to the edge here. So if tomorrow we start to see volume pick up and we see it come down first in the evening and we start to see it now push up, that's another thing we want to be looking for, right, with SHIB. Because like I said, the next response or the next point, the next leg up, right, is the real resistance isn't really much. Everything's kind of, we might see some resistance up in this level here. Give me 1 second. But we've done so much consolidating here that it's just potentially we could see a good push up, right? Like there's nothing sitting right. Oh, well, I guess we could see some, but this is a part of its consolidation period. Sorry, my brain just went somewhere else. Forgive me, ADD moment. Let us. All right, so there we go. All right, so we could see something sitting around this level here, but this is a part of the consolidation period. So we could potentially hit this area right here, kind of come back down into next month or next week, and then push back up. But again, I'm definitely much more bullish now about SHIB at these levels. I'm sad that I didn't pick up enough SHIB down at these levels here. I picked up a decent amount right when it was consolidating back in my levels here over the bear market here, but I was hoping for more of a sell-off down here. So this is good news here with SHIB. Okay, so that's just a big thing, right? We're seeing now volume step in on the last couple of days and a substantial amount, right? So we're seeing this good movement here. And then let's check out Kitten Whiff Hat, which has been all over the news. A lot of people have been talking about it. They were on Mar in the Fall yesterday. Didn't know that they knew each other, so I thought that was really interesting. Shogun, shout out to Shogun over with his crew over there, DEFCON 9 and the whole entire entity, or DEFCON 7, whatever it is. All y'all degens over there, what up? Shout out to you guys.
Did the Mario Nafal thing help at all?
Well, it was interesting. No, but yes, because here's the thing. When I'm looking at it, like you can see here that some people, like if we go back in time on this, you can literally see with it, it did shoot up a little. So some people went out and got a bag, right? We definitely saw a pump where it shot up for about 4 hours, right? Which was right, where was it? So it was yesterday, right here-ish, right? You saw it kind of pushed up and now it's kind of pulled back. So the fact is that, I mean, looking at Kitty with Hat, we're finding support on these levels here. And I'll put this up here. It's funny. I have TA on a couple other things, right? And so I was sitting there looking at it and I was like going, come on, there you go. So I was looking at it. I had done TA back here as it was pulling back. So I actually but every time with this, because they're still kind of small, right? Like I can't pull them up in other places. Oh, but let's see if it does pull up again. Here we are. So, I forgot about that. This is the one I wanted to go to. I was like, dang it. So back here, I put this up here where you guys saw us do, right? You saw me put these levels in, and you guys, before the market came up here and before the market came down to here, right? We were kind of sitting at these levels here last week. When did we last talk about this? It was Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday.
Yeah, so maybe I'm trying to think Thursday, October. Thursday was the 24th. Okay, there we go. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So, all right, I just wanted to make sure, like, I wasn't going crazy because I was like, wait, was I wrong? But yeah, so we hit this area right here.
Every day we check to make sure you're not all crazy, Pedro.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Glad somebody is.
So, otherwise, it'd just be me up here and everybody be like, yeah, okay, time to go.
So we're kind of in this consolidation period right here, as you guys can see right here. We did sell off here. And so I'm kind of happy that we're seeing a sell off so that I can pick up more Swift or Kitty with Swift down in these lower levels here. And then because it was interesting is there's some big heads that are in this. And like Shogun knows a lot of people. So I think what's happening is like they're kind of bringing in all their friends first to be the hold, to be the floor. So I'm not seeing a lot of supply wicks when it comes to these levels here. We're not seeing a lot of supply wicks or demand wicks. It's just kind of consolidating here. People come in, so we're seeing prices just being met, right? And so I just find that interesting. Like in this aspect, when I'm looking at Kitty with Swift here, there's not necessarily a bunch of sellers nor a bunch of buyers, just people coming in, purchasing, almost catching the floor here. So at the level that we're seeing at that the 002533 to that 19, potentially 11, 12 area here is an area that you could really pick up some. I could see basically just people coming in and buying at that level. So that's that market cap around 2 million to $1.5 million, $1.1 million. So you're like, that's pretty big. Well, if this thing sends, right, and potentially to 100x or 100 million, 200 mil, they're talking about seeing this at $1 billion. Then we potentially, that's a good little play for us. So I sent out about $1 million.
They need a lot more exposure though, and
absolutely.
I don't know how they could not get more exposure. I mean, they're doing 120-hour marathon spaces. They've got people all over the internet talking about them, but they're hoping for that founder of Pump.Fund to come on and say, yeah, that was my first contract. And if he does,
it's on.
It's gonna move.
Yeah, definitely. So this is one of those things we potentially be seeing. Make sure everybody shares the space, please. Thank you so much, Alpha Wolf, again, man. Dude, if anybody hasn't subscribed to Alpha Wolf, please go and subscribe to Alpha Wolf on Twitter or on X. You can see this guy. He's always dropping little gems. He's the one who brought to us before anybody. Alpha, when did you drop Mudang? I think it was at 60,000. It just left Pump Fund, right? When was that, man? You guys don't. I mean, this man has literally called 2,000 to 3,000 X's here. So if you're not following him, you're not doing yourself justice. And there's other ones but he looks at very small market cap. Sitting between 30,000, 40,000. So. Around there. It was like 100K. Yeah. Now the baby's sitting, what is it? It went up to almost $1 billion, right? And then dropped back down now. But Alpha's doing a good job. And he keeps searching, he keeps working. He works a day job, by the way, at the same time, right? He's building his portfolio. He works a day job, he gets in on these markets and then gets out, right? So again, he's a hard-working man. Go check him out. Shout out to AI Wolf.
Hardest working man in crypto.
Yeah, legit. The man works, 10-hour days at his regular job while at the same time grinding, looking at the charts. I'm like, how do you do that, dude? So fire. So this is the Kitty with Whiff Hat. Kitten Whiff Hat. That's KWIF. Also shout out to the KWIF community. If you guys are there, shout out. Come bring the guys in, let them know that we're talking about them. Boom. Where else? Where's the next spot? Oh, this is the other thing we want to talk about. How much time do I got left? Oh, Tom left. All right, boom.
About 15 minutes, Pedro.
15 minutes. All right, so I'm going to quickly run through the top 10 here. Okay. So Binance, still within this area here, right? But here's the thing, right? Again, we're seeing volume step in here. So I think we're going to bust out of this level here. If you're looking to pick up some Binance, then I was expecting us to see a sell-off, right, from last week because we put this big red candle in, but it reversed. So now we're seeing a push-up. We bounced up that 50-period moving average. So it's a good little indication. Things have kind of switched from an environmental standpoint of crypto. The fact that Trump is looking like he's going to get into office, you want to start to switch, mentality. If we've been consolidating in the area, expect to see some big push up, come back down, find support with volume, and then continue up. That's what we're looking. And what you want to play off of is that 8-period moving average to the 20-period moving average as it finds a trend up, right? During the bull market, we find the trend on the 8, and we just come back and keep tapping it, right, as it continues up. So real important to be looking at. But I really like kind of the setup that's actually happening with Binance. You can see here already on the week that we're starting to find support on that 8 period. You can see we tapped it this week Monday, and we're seeing it start to pull up. So that's really nice. Okay, it's a good indication. This is what I mean, right? This is a good showing of when a market is starting to find a trend, so you can see it push up. We potentially could, if after next week, if Trump gets in, this supply area will most likely get pushed through. Okay, simply because you have a fundamental environment change that will trump TA, right? Or we can hit it, pull back a little, okay? Again, come back down to that 8 and then push up. So it'll be really interesting as we move forward. XRP. Guys, last week we came down, we hit our area right here. Come on. You can do it. Yeah. All right. We came down to hit our area right here that we've been waiting for. Now it pushed back up, which is pretty nice. It did push through the 8-period moving average. Again, this is one of those for you XRP lovers out there, look, it's got to find support here. Okay, we've got to see volume coming in that's higher than the supply area, the seller area. You can see that's not what we're seeing. Okay, it bounced off an area of buyers that are now in preparation. In preparation for this bull run, we should see more volume coming in at this level here, and we didn't. And so this is where it's almost like, okay, what's going on here? So again, I gotta pull back my reservation on XRP right now and simply just say we need more buyers to step in at this level, because we should have seen a good amount of volume step in at this point that would really continue this push up. So kind of wait and see on XRP. Let's check out ADA. ADA is coming up to our supply area here on the flip zone, but we're showing fairly good volume here. Not necessarily as much as I want, but ADA is showing a pullback. We're seeing pullbacks where we're seeing it get eaten up and pushed back up. So right now, it's got to fight through the 100-period moving average and that 89. It's all you have a conglomeration of a bunch of SMAs that are holding it down. Also, you have higher time frame SMA sitting that's above us as well. We have that weekly 8 and that weekly 20. So it's got a lot of resistance. If we're going to see a push up, we could potentially see a push up from 35, where we're sitting at right now, to that 40 cent area. But again, we're going to have to see some major volume step in instead of a sell off of once it gets a little higher, right? Like I'm more reserved on XRP. Let's check out Doge. Check them out, dude. They have been amazing. The fact that when Elon straight came out and said, yeah, I plan on using Doge, or at least as a position, as a payment option, potentially up in Mars, if he's able to set that up and get that going, if he doesn't get basically his hands slapped and demolished by the far left and their agenda. Again, I tell everybody, he used to be a liberal. He used to be a card-carrying Democrat, right? A centralist. Now he's more to the left, or excuse me, now he's more to the right, because literally, like as Tom says perfectly, that far left ideology is just like a cancer to the mindset. What do you call it? The woke cancer? What do you call it, Tom?
Woke mind virus.
Yeah, woke mind virus, right? It's kind of a crazy thing. So and we talked about this, I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, about they can't let him, or they're going to try their best not to let him really succeed, because now they see him as a traitor. He's not there, and he's fully embraced Trump and what he's trying to do. And so I just like with what happened with CZ and other people who kind of betrayed them in a sense, right? They will go after, and not to say that CZ betrayed, but they went after their money bag SBF, right? And so they definitely went after CZ for that. In the same sense, I don't see them leaving Trump alone. I think they're very much going to go after, not Trump, leaving Elon alone. Because the reality is this, is for them to do that, then it would be one of those aspects of, well, it would it would make it okay to defy them in a sense, right? And so he's very much about the EVs. I mean, you're talking about a man who's actually not just through a rhetoric communication style, he actually goes out and does it, right? Like he goes out and he says, what did you accomplish this week? Let's go, right? And he's trying to make it much safer here on Earth from an environmental standpoint. And he's not falling in line with the rhetoric that they're trying to push, through, as he says, as Elon says, literally through the transgender situation, through the way that they're trying to control speech and the rhetoric that comes out from the far right and far left, right? That they're trying to, or not the far left, but the far right and central right, that they're trying to control that. And he doesn't like that. So the fact that he is actually still fighting for free speech, that is opposed to his previous thought process, is really interesting. So I think they're going to keep going after him. If Trump does not win, Elon Musk is alone. And so I think we're going to see some backlash, some major backlash against him. So,
well, I think South Africa will have a new space company if that happens.
Bro, it would be so interesting if he literally said, you know what? Fine. F you, America. And made his way to South Africa and just took everything he had and said, I'm done with you. I love you guys, but I'm done. And to see what he would do with South Africa, because he could run for president there. He could.
Then here in the U.S., they'd say, "Oh well, we're not giving you any more contracts for space stuff," and he'd be like, "Okay, fine, you do it yourself." And then Boeing's trying to sell their space unit now. They want out. Their SLS rocket is just not a non-starter. It's $1 billion a copy, and it's just not going to work out. And suddenly, the Defense Department will be like, "We've got to go to South Africa and hire them."
Yeah, that's exactly. Dude, I just might move there. Just buy a house out there, dude. Because I mean, it's so cheap out there.
Go live next to Ran. Hey,
I'd be like, "What's up, bro? Give him knuckles, dudes. What's up? You gonna come up for the party next week?" I'd be like, "Yeah, mate." No, that's not how they talk, dude. Yeah. It would be interesting. I was checking out. There's a lot of places in South Africa that are really nice. Gold Coast, not Gold Coast. What's that?
You haven't been there lately, have you, Pedro?
What's up?
Everywhere you go, it's like armed security. I mean, it makes Chicago look like a super safe place. Even in Cape Town, or they run out of water in Cape Town.
Well, I got to put it like this. If Elon Musk decides he wants to move there, I'm pretty positive that
things will get better.
Yeah, the amount of money that inflows, it's going to generate a bunch of industry. It would be pretty interesting. But that's on a side point. Pedro Tomatoes. Oh, snaps. I guess you don't like that. Well, hey, I can't please everybody. Oh, you mean Pedro the Tomato because of the red. I got you. All right. But let's jump back here to Doge here. So I like Doge. It definitely, we talked about it pulling back down to our level here and potentially pushing through. And obviously, man, look, Monday it just sent. So absolutely Bitcoin, or not Bitcoin, but absolutely bullish on Doge. I picked up quite a bit down at these lower levels, man. And I'm glad that I got in at these levels here. So potentially we could definitely see with Doge. I mean, price prediction, I could literally see us hitting this area right here. That 35-cent area. And again, we could just fly through that area, like without ease, because the reality is what he does is he just breaks things until it works, right? That's his mindset, And I was actually watching Tom Bailu speak with Hershowitz. Why am I forgetting his name? The investor. Why am I forgetting the fun name? Dear God. Some Hershowitz. Come on, brain. Dude, look at that. Dude, I hate it when don't you hate it when your brain just says, haha, I'm not going to work right now. Haha, forget you, dude. Come on, dude. Let me see if I can pull it up.
Sorry, Pedro. I'm trying to multitask here.
No, you're good, man. Listen, I know.
I don't know who the heck you're talking about. I'm trying to think of it, but I'm like drawing a blank.
It is all good. I'll just pull it up here real quick. My brain is just deciding and said, forget you, dude. You're just gonna have to suffer. They look like an idiot. It doesn't take much to do that for me. So hey, give me a second. Boom, let's go. There we are. Mark Andreessen. Dear God, dude. It was so hard for my brain. I was like, it's like saying to go Andrews, you know, like it's like
he's the founder of the browser, the web browser, basically the founder of the World Wide Web. Not the web protocols, but the usage, because he founded the browser, and he famously recently turned $50,000 investment into Goat is Maximus, into $150 million.
He's a smart guy. And plus he's invested into X with Elon and a bunch of other stuff. And so I was listening to him and on Tom Bilyeu, and he was literally saying, this was a while back ago, you guys, I think it was maybe 7 days ago. But he talks about how like Elon Musk's mindset is literally keep breaking it until it works. And you just keep, and instead of bringing a layer between the bureaucracy, right? Whereas like most companies, right? You have the CEO, and then you have like 5 to 10 layers between him and the people who actually work on it, right? The engineers. Basically, what Elon does is it removes the middle and goes directly to the actual engineers and goes, what's the issue? Why aren't we moving forward? And because he speaks physics, he speaks rocket, right? He speaks all these like things that he understands, the neural mindset of things. He goes directly to the company and goes, what's going on? And then if there's an issue, if they need money to build something, to do something else, he goes, here's the money, make it happen. Break it, get it going. If it breaks, then we can work that out again. And he does this weekly, right? And
welcome, Derek Kaching to the house. Thanks for joining us. Late coming to a close here, but as always, thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it.
Always, brother. It's always good to see you, Kaching. You rock the mic. So
I agree with you on that. They'll figure it out. If you can, you can basically read Twitter threads now on how to detect pump bots and all that type of stuff. You know, the government will say, well, let's just throw a $5 million at developing our own detection device, or Chain Analysis will just come by and say all these things are pump bots. And I got to tell you, or you're going to see on all these projects in really fine print, this is a meme coin. We employ market maker bots, which is perfectly legal to have market maker bots.
Yeah.
You have to disclose these things. And even if it's a pump bot, that's not necessarily illegal if you disclose it. If you're saying we're using our own money to buy and sell, that's what corporations do. They buy and sell their own shares, but they disclose it to their shareholders. So, and I don't think anyone will care, Pedro, if they disclose it. If someone says, we're using pump bots, we're using market makers, people are going to be like, yes, that means they're serious about this. And they'll probably invest more in it if they're just honest about it and disclose things.
Yeah. I think that's one of the biggest issues that we see currently right now is that I won't call it dishonesty, because there's the thing, the institutions do the same thing, right? Like they have algorithms where they have boutique hedge funds that trade offshore, in which where Goldman Sachs, BlackRock funnels money to these individual boutique family institutions. And, they're worth maybe $2, $3 billion, $5 billion, $10 billion market where they can actually deploy that type of cash. And so what happens is many institutions, large institutions like JP Morgan and things like that, will funnel money into good traders, right? And even though they're a separate entity, who invests into them? You got to go look, right? And you'll see many, many boutique funds that have great traders or family trading, right, outside the US have been funded a lot, and even within the US have been funded a lot with large institutions. And those guys trade on behalf of the money, because they're saying they got to pay interest on the money that they make, that was given to them, right? But and here's the thing: they also trade. They'll go short for, let's say, Goldman Sachs. They'll go long for BlackRock, right? Or they'll take the other, or they'll take they'll be the liquidity for a market, even though they're negative on the actual trade. They were the liquidity, and so what happens is Goldman Sachs then refunnels their cash reserve, and they'll help them out because, well, one, they have the ability to do that, and two, they can. There's ways to get around the books, and people don't realize that. Like, there's a lot of stuff there that actually happens within the industry. Crypto, in a sense, now that the institutions are involved, there's no rules around here right now. So, especially in America, which I've talked about, was done on purpose, right? I think it was done on purpose because not to have regulations means that the big boys can do whatever they want, right? No yard duty on the playground, and basically you have the smartest and biggest bully out there who is ruthless. So that's what I think we're definitely seeing with the markets here in crypto. But things are interesting. Agreed. I'm not opposed to the market makers. I'm opposed to the predatorial movements of market makers that potentially are done. Right. So, but if you're a good trader and you're trying to trade and you're buying the lows, right, and you're selling the highs, right, I think, and I talk about, you want to look at the 100-day period, the 200-day period. You want to see the crossover of the 50. I talked about these things. These are how institutions' minds work, right? I talk about following it as volume steps in, right, to push the market up. These small details are important for us because it allows you guys to be able to see, oh, this is how they play. Right. And so that's my goal, is to always bring a mindset of institutional trading to you guys so you can gauge where the market potentially could be coming down to, how to see where the order flow is actually trying to drop down to. So jumping back to TRX, we talked about, definitely bullish with these guys. These guys have just been killing it nonstop. Even with the big sell-off that they had on Friday, they definitely pulled back and they're pushing them. So we talked about this 18-cent, 17-cent area acting as a type of resistance to them. So they're coming up into this level here, and I'm definitely looking for a type of maybe a sell-off. It all depends on how much volume I see step in off of this pullback with Tron. So I'm definitely looking to pick up more Tron as we come down into certain levels. Then I'll let you guys know where I'm looking, where I'm considering buying Tron at as we move forward here. Alrighty, and then Matic. Let's jump into Matic. I know you got to get going, Tom, so we'll talk about this. So Matic came down into our level here over the weekend. We saw it sell off, came down into this lower level here. We saw it kind of bounce up, and now we're starting to see it come and hit that 8-period moving average on Matic. It's really important that today we've got to get above it, and we've got to test it. It can't just tap it or basically stay where it's at, because what's going to happen is tomorrow, and the market moves up around 12 o'clock, right? Eastern Standard Time, we'll see it go up, tap that 8, and see it sell off. We want to see it push through and pierce this 8 right here. If we don't see that, then we're going to have issues then with, well, continuing up. We don't see a lot of volume stepping in. I was hoping that we could see some more volume step in, but if not, there are two places again we could be playing off of down at this next level, that 29-28 cents area, right? Is a good area that we could be looking at. And Tom, I felt so bad, dude. Like on Friday when I saw this, I was yeah, for Poly, for you.
Oh yeah, I've actually limited my exposure to Matic now, so I still have a significant future interest in it, but the day-to-day stuff, the short-term stuff, I've eliminated. I still have a long-term exposure, but that's fine for now.
Good. All right, I love it. So yeah, but I do see it's continuing.
Carmen Crypto in the house. Thanks for joining us, Chumbaloni.
What's up, Carmen? It's good to see you. Sorry. Yo, when is Carmen going to just come on? I just want her to come on and hang.
Keep bugging her about that. Keep bugging her about that.
Carmen, what is it? You don't like Mexicans with long hair and that look like babies when they shave? Is that what it is?
Hey, Seuss, what are you talking about? Y'all seen Quiff? We just spent 10 minutes talking about it 10 minutes ago.
Giving you the red light special. Come on over, girl.
Pedro's in Amsterdam right now, working from the Red District.
Dude, just call me a Rothschild then, man. That's funny. Sorry, that was a historical thing. Silliness. Okay, so Matic, they're sitting right there, and let's just check out Ava. So like I told you guys, I'm definitely loving Ava. Came down to our area here on Friday, bought a little bit more as we came down. I was all happy about it. I was like, woohoo! So definitely do that. I said we should find support at this level where we did. And then now we're starting to see it pick up a good little sell-off yesterday, pull back into the from the night session, and then we saw it rally out on the American session, seeing the same thing coming in. So we pushed through that 8, and now we want to be looking at the weekly chart to see, will we see a stop? And we'll probably kind of peter out a little here, but I think we're going to get through that 8 period moving average and continue up into potentially 28 area on AVAX. So shout out to Chris Alexander. Brother, if this thing takes legs here, which I'm expecting to do, we could see a push up at least to the 33-31 area. So that's this area up in here at these levels here. We've already traded through this zone, and we put in a lower high here. And so I would expect us to see a potential higher high as we move closer up to these levels of 33. So that could potentially be a 10-point move on AVAX. All righty. I know that, is there anything else you guys want me to pull up by chance? Turn off my computer.
I got to get rolling here. Pedro got things to do today. We're still working on the setup here at the event. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone that was joined us today, thank you very much for joining us on this. Started late, but got rolling on it. We went over all the good stuff today. Talked about Bitcoin reaching the all-time high here, or almost just right in there. Talked about some good things having to do with KWIF and Doge and that type of stuff. It was a good, we'll say a good Johnny on the spot show here, coming to you from the. I guess I'm in Kitchener. No, I don't know if I'm in Kitchener or what. I don't know. It's over in that part of Ontario. If any of you guys know where that is, it's just west of Toronto by an hour or so, hour and a half, depending on traffic. Could be 5 hours. AI, thanks for joining us. Really, really appreciate it. Looking forward to your spaces.
Absolutely.
Walter sent me his list of things, and I actually took the time to go ahead and tap them. And on my phone, it dropped them into my calendar. I was like, oh, that's good. And it gave me a warning yesterday. And I always miss AI spaces. I always miss them. And it reminded me. It said it's time for spaces. So I clicked on it, and he wasn't on. And I was like, hey, aren't you on today? He goes, oh, no, I had to cancel. So I know the feeling, AI. I know the feeling. Jesus, thanks for joining us. Let's see if this will work.
Look.
Yeah, there's the red light seemed to have gotten brighter than when we started, Pedro. I don't know how.
Oh, no. It's because
there you go. There you
go. That's funny. I actually kind of like, you're right, dude. Here's the thing. These are like red light therapy. It helps my back because I sit down for 2 hours here. Very rarely. Like I like to stand up when I'm looking at the charts. That's why my chart sits up high and everything's cool. And but it helps my lower back because I'm still fat. That ain't a pH. So I'm still, by the way, I'm almost down like 15 pounds, man. Since the show, 15, 20. What?
I said you can see it right in here in your neck.
Oh, yeah, man, too. I mean, potentially you'll be able to start to see the cut up of the chin. A pretty strong line, so, or chin line, whatever. So we'll see what's
all right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. As always, have a great day. We will not be with you here tomorrow. Tomorrow I have an all-day event here, something like that. But we're going to change up the schedule. We'll do a show Thursday, and we'll do a show Friday also. we'll do half. We'll do DYOR live, and then after that, we'll go slip right into Full Rant Friday and go with it on the X Spaces. So everyone, as always, be there. I have no idea how to end this using whatever interface I'm using now. I don't even know where the mouse went. I've got all these monitors in front of me. Let's see who's going to get the last comment here. Oh, Crypto Postman, you join us just as we're leaving here. Thanks for joining us, Crypto Postman. We'll be back on the air Thursday, so thanks for joining us.
That's fine.
Let's see.
I like Crypto. I like Postman. He's a cool dude.
Doing the remote stream here, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, where is the right one? Overlay. Technical Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us.